Okay, so I want to continue now with our smash up of forms drawings, our great smash up drawings, and this time I want to use traditional material. So for this first drawing, we'll do 3 drawings. And I'm going to do a little bit bigger. They'll each be in a separate piece of paper and a little bit larger, so that way you see something, a scale a little bit bigger. If you like to draw a little bit larger, looser, you can see this. And so for each one, I'll use a different material. And I've got out in front of me 2 Faber-Castell colored pencils, and then I've got my trusty hard edge here as well. So I'm going to do 3 bigger ones, and then I'm going to do something different on the 4th one. I'm going to pick of the 3, pick the one I think is the most interesting, and actually redraw it and add to it, and maybe make it a little bit more finished and final. So that's what we'll do. Okay, so we'll get started. Remember, I've got my toolkit of my tools, my sphere, my cone, my cylinder, my box, and my pyramid, right? I've got all those tools. I'll keep them in my head without this time drawing them, so we can kind of get to it a little bit faster. All right, so let's see what I can make up. You can draw along with me, and if you want to do that, great. If not, then kind of do your own thing or kind of share some ideas. So I think I might do a flow this time. Maybe I'll flow this way just to start to get a gesture. I don't really know what's going to happen yet. I think I want to maybe overlap and come over maybe a little bit with this one. That might be kind of interesting to do something, you know, kind of like that and flow over, and then maybe it gets knotted or it overlaps maybe in several different directions. The idea is to draw really light, keep it loose, and see what happens throughout the composition. So we'll just kind of start to think about this. So I might start out maybe with a little bit more of a boxy form in through here. So here's kind of my box coming down this way. So again, this lesson is about learning to take our tools, our solids, and make something of them, because later on we'll be drawing natural looking observable objects as well. So I've got kind of a boxy front, and then maybe I'll start to feel this, maybe I'll curve it a little bit around, so then it becomes kind of a cylinder a little bit in through here. So I feel this boxing is coming down, this is curved. Give me some kind of quick gesturing contours in through here. So this I might keep boxy, but maybe out of this I could round this and even round it further, so we have like a boxy front. So I want to keep that, so I might take my hard edge and really keep that kind of secured in there. But then I might come out and say maybe there's an opening in through here, maybe a couple of openings, maybe it's centralized, maybe like so, and it kind of opens up, maybe over, sort of maybe pushed over to the side, like so. So we're kind of drawing abstractly, but yet using, you know, three-dimensional, you know, solid format. So this comes out, maybe it starts to open up and come out this way. It becomes like a tube out through here to go in. You know, what if you were designing like a child's swing playground set of some sort? That might be. Everything would mostly be soft, right? All right, so we've got this coming through, kind of a rounded form. So this might meet up with that, like so. Let her rip, really wing it, see what happens. This might curve in a little bit, but this is like another curved form coming down, like so. And this might have like ellipses and ovals and openings, so it could get pretty weird here, maybe in through there. Get the idea. Coming through. It's kind of like a tongue, huh? It's weird. Strange. Alright, be weird. Let it be weird. Alright, so we'll curve this through. So I'm thinking about, again, a tube coming in. Like so. And then maybe if this comes in and over, like so, we might say, okay, if I want it to be in a knot, maybe it comes up and over. So we'll kick it over to the side. So my flow is going to move in this direction, right? So I'll flow this over. So this, I might think of this as a series of tubes, which could be tube-like or they could be spherical inside here. And maybe these have openings here. These are just quick sketched ovals that could be openings. Okay. And so this is going to come up and around like so. So here's like a long, this could be, watch, this could be a cone in through here. Could be thinking of a cone right there. So here's the back of that cone. We'll keep it invisible in through here, so it might come up in through. And then this is, I want to get it to be really tight, so this is foreshortened a little bit. So it might come over here. This might do this and curl over like so. Okay. So I've got several different kind of forms, you know, working for me. I might keep this kind of blocky in here still. And later on, even this could get, after the cone, if I wanted to, I could keep this kind of as a 3D kind of form. But that's blocky, so it can get curved, and then it could come on down. And I can put some quick hatch marks there too as well. All right, so if this comes through, maybe this comes around like so, and it's going to tail in itself and come up and over, right, and around. See, I can draw it through, draw lighter, draw through and through there. So it's kind of up, it's coming up and over, and maybe it comes up and over like there. So it's got something, maybe I want to go in this direction, and then curve, come up and over, right, and then come underneath all this. Now I'll see what I can do. So it can come up and over through here, come up under all of this, behind it. Then my thinking is to come underneath all of that and come out maybe this way. So maybe it's some kind of crazy fun crawl space for kids. Hopefully, you know, I don't have kids, but we'll try to keep it, you know, acceptable for kids. Make it cool, but also make it safe. So not too many hard edges. So if you can imagine, like coming in, this is the mouth of a creature maybe, and they come through and climb through all the parts, and they come, maybe they come out the this ending part over through here, and maybe that would be another box-like form, kind of like that. So that's my thinking. Maybe they would come out like that. Okay, so that might be another box. So here's our form smash up. It's going to be a box, but I'm going to soften it up. So we want to pretend like it's made out of air or foam, or it's blown up, you know, with an air machine, so it's really big. And through here, so we'll come over, catch that, just winging it like this. So maybe this curls around a little bit. So you can see how you can start out with a boxier form, and then you can curve it to your imagination's requirements. There we go. Okay. All right, so we've got that. So this curled around on itself, right, in through here, and came over, okay, around. So this was bulging. This was really bulging. This was bulging in through here. So these are like tubes, or in this position, they can be like ball forms, spherical forms. You could even cut them off to make it look more like that if you wanted to. I'll tighten it up later. Really bring them out. That's another thing, is gesture. It's a very loose kind of technique. Gesture yourself. Do you work in gesture first, really quickly and loosely. And you know, I don't care about any kind of style. This is just how I'm drawing this. I might draw it in a different style later on, but style's not important. What's important, so when you look at my drawings, you know, especially for now, we'll get into that advanced kind of lessons every now and again, where style or some way of aesthetic is really important. Right now, it's not anywhere near as important as structure. So they might come through. This is a double room. They might have to work over this weird kind of tonguey thing. And through here some more. Maybe more of these, right? That kind of thing. Wild, wacky, and crazy. Give yourself license to be strange, to be weird. I'm just drawing abstractions. All right, so this comes around like so. So what is this? This is just a series of tubes. And see, I give it expression by ellipses, contouring ellipses. This might straighten out, come back over and through there. Then maybe if something came off this, maybe this was like a dead end. You know, they couldn't climb out, but they could climb through here, but then they would wind up maybe out over and through here. So this is a cone, right? So this is a cone attached to that ellipse. Maybe there's a couple of them. There's like some dead ends, or maybe they're, instead of dead ends, maybe they're like little skylights. I'll show you. Maybe this is like a plexiglass opening, and so kids could kind of come and see through. It's like, hey, how are you? And see through and come through there. But they wouldn't, obviously they wouldn't fall out because it's contained within the amusement park themed, you know, whatever. Maybe, now here we go, maybe this is like the head of something, so it's like a giant whatever kind of insect, so maybe it has an antenna that comes out through here, so the stem of the antenna could be what? Could be a tube, yeah, like so, and then maybe there's a little ball that's attached to it, so it's a sphere like that. And then the other one could maybe be, if we put it on the other side of the head, it might attach here, right? And then come out and flow down to maybe there. Okay? So we're drawing ideas and concepts. So maybe what I'll do for this particular lesson in traditional, so it's the Great Smashup 2, but I'm starting to get a theme. And maybe I'll just, for each the three drawings I do, maybe there'll be the theme of soft sculpture. And I'm pretending like these might be made for a sculptor, an entertainment design, or an environmental sculptor to come along and with a team and make this into like a playground where kids could kind of run through. Okay, that's kind of my loose theme. And if I don't like it, I can always change it. You can always go back and change that as well. So, all right, so working here, sharpening my pencil just a sec. Try to keep it relatively sharp as best you can. So I'm coming along in through here. And this overlaps. And now it comes down and through here, right? So this is just a series of concentric. It's just a long cylinder, right? Or you can make it into, you can say I want to cut that off. Now, when I'm contouring, I'm thinking all the way through, coming through in here. So it's coming up and over, right? So the kids would travel through the tube and there could be, you know, soft little walkways or little crawl spaces. Who knows? And through here. And it would open, let's see, it would maybe widen back in through here. I tell you, those of you that have children, you know that the test of any good design for kids is to have your kids critique it, because they don't hold back, right? They'll let you know if it's not so hot. They don't hold back. They're not adulterated yet. All right, so in that sense. All right, so we come through. So I think we've got something really to work with now. Maybe this starts, if it's a little bit more squared here, maybe it starts to get squared in its it's ending, so it's coming down for the last, maybe this is like a slide, and they slide on out here into a soft, safe landing right in through here. So remember, I'm just winging it, having fun, just like the last drawing on the Cintiq tablet, which are a lot of fun to draw with, by the way. I'm just winging it, and the kids, they would come out maybe this opening in through there. So I'm kind of squaring this up a little bit, keeping this round, but then maybe squaring this off, so you have different form directions, and you'll see that when you draw the figure. If you go back and look at the figure section on our drawing channel, we talk about the volumetric figure, and it's just the same thing with the figure. So this gets squared as it ends. It comes over in this direction, and I think we've got something that's starting to work. I think a little bit. I'm starting to feel good about. So maybe we can tighten this up a little bit. So I just thought to see if my Carbotella pencil would go with a wax pencil. They don't really mix well, so you can't, it's hard to do that. So I think I'll take my blue pencil here and just tighten up maybe underneath the areas where I want a little bit of darker, heavier weight. Not too much, so I'm going to push through here a little bit and go a little faster, because I want to emphasize the last study from one of the three, and I'll make that a more finished study. So that's kind of where we're headed, but I can put a little bit of more of emphasis on this one. So would come in through here, work in kind of over the insect's tongue area, and then go through the body, and then maybe could be kiosks in there. They could learn about bugs and all kinds of things or whatnot, and different parts of the body as they go through. And so if you draw something different, maybe you can start to give it a theme, too. And maybe yours is going to be airplanes or something, or nothingness is okay. If you come up with nothing and just forms, that's just as good. Doesn't have to have a theme. I just kind of started to wing it. And if you do wing it, sometimes there's things that come out that okay, I could take advantage of this, if I want. So in that way, coming through here and big back. So movement was important in my design. That's where the gesture came in. That kind of helped. And again, all the kids would flow through and out this way. And so, this got boxy. We wedged this out again, right, in through here. And then this became maybe a little the ending part of the sled, or the slide, as they came out the back end of it in through here. I can work that in across. Okay. All right. So there's our first one. I think I've got what I want with it. To have a little fun and have a little bit more movement and see what kind of happens. All right. So let's go on to another one, and let's take on a different idea. So what I'll do is I'll use the theme of an amusement climbing structure, like a jungle gym, we call it here in the States, but where kids can have fun and play through things. All right, so let's go on to the next one. This time I'm using graphite. I'm using a pretty soft graphite pencil, a 4B, so it'll slide around pretty nicely as I draw with bigger space as well. Sometimes the bigger ones can go quicker than the smaller ones, so you might be surprised. It might be a little ironic, but that's kind of sometimes the case a little bit. All right, so let's try another one. I think I'll do the flow in a different color so you'll see it. Let's do it in a blue so you'll so you'll see it. So, okay, we're working with that theme again, right? In my drawings of maybe a child's kind of playground. So maybe I'll do something really different. Maybe we'll do a flow this way. I'm going to keep it in camera, and we'll come here, and then maybe it comes in and down, and maybe it's going to loop down and through here, right? And then come up and over, and maybe loop again and come up really high. So we can keep it in camera, and then maybe come down, loop again and over, back and through, and then maybe come out maybe this way. Maybe. We'll see what we have. So what I did was draw just essentially a gesture, an idea, a rhythm and a flow to my composition. And I have the right to change that as many times as I want. So I might come up here and actually make this more of a hard edge. And maybe turn it soft. So maybe what I could do is say, okay, this is going to be a boxy form in through here. So it might start out with the undergirding of a box. That could look like that. And then, by the way, come up with crazy ideas. Take this to an architectural engineer and, hey, see if they can build it. You never know. You might have something pretty crazy and doable. You never know. So this could come out through here. Maybe I'll have soft kind of boxy forms throughout just to do something different in through here. So maybe this is the side plane coming down, and then this might curve over in through here. And this can be, a softer kind of transition later on. And so maybe if we curve down, this could be an angle, and then maybe it juts out at an angle like there, off the page just a little bit. Let me see if I can bring my camera out so you can see it a little bit more. That's better. There we go. Now you can see that. Okay, sorry about that. So we can come out in and down. Then maybe this is gonna, so we'll end everything kind of on an edgy turn, but I'm thinking of this material, if it was a built major amusement kind of exercise, jungle gym, as soft material. So they would be soft in these little edges, right? So children wouldn't get hurt. They'd be made out of some kind of plastic or air, maybe. So now maybe I come down here, and so this is another boxy form, and so they're creased right in through here. So I'm thinking of like a tube, out through here, right? Coming in through here, but then somehow soft as it finishes or ends in through here and through here. So maybe there's an angle or a crease right through there that tells me there's another boxy form in through there. Okay, like so. And of course, kids could come in and out of this at different areas. I'll figure that out in a moment. So we have that coming through, and maybe this comes down. So I'm thinking this could be a box right here where I'm drawing, and then this was a tube, right, coming out this direction. So it could come out and through here, and then this maybe curls around. Okay, should we get that in the camera? Yeah, we can get that in. Okay, we come out through here, and this curls around, and then of course it keeping with my theme of a little bit square or cubic like, then I could come back and box that over and through here, and this might flow down and around, so curved over. And then maybe, as this is maybe this is the top, maybe we could have some kind of skylights that would emerge through intervals. So there's sun coming through to give some nice natural light, and then maybe on the sides later on. We'll see how that goes. So this could be creased. That's a box and through there. And so maybe this comes down, and so they come down on a journey, and then they take a slide through here, or they come down and it's a kind of walk down way, a soft walkway that they could slam into the wall because it's soft and play with their friends, push each other around, be rough, kind of rough housing through here. And so this would, so I'm thinking this first, right, as a tube. So this will go underneath what I have here. And then after I think of it as a tube, I'm going to square it up a little bit. So that's something you can think about. You'll when you're drawing a lot, you'll conceive of a form in one position because it's easier maybe to draw, and then you'll go back and then you'll change it according to what you really want it to be and box it out. You can go from a cylinder to a box, from a box to a cylinder. And so let's say if I want this now to be more boxy, so it's in this direction. And remember, we started out with just a gesture, just a directional flow. So maybe I want to end it here, in the crease here. Remember, that's going to be soft. Nobody's ever going to get hurt in our little child's imaginative playground. Okay, here. Okay. So this might come up in this direction and move like so. So what I'm training you to do is see forms in many different directions and to conceive of them maybe in planes and angles that break the laws a little bit of rigid sort of ground plane perspective, 1, 2, and 3 point. Here, and so this would curl and come underneath a little bit like so, okay? I could show that with a little bit of shadow tone in through here for now. And so this might go off in this direction. I might keep something like a curve, but then I can make it into sort of hexagonal kind of things. Watch in through here, and then come back up underneath. This could go darker, right? So let's see how that works out. So these might raise up a little bit to the side, and these go back to the very top. This I might connect up here. So I started out with a curve, and I'm ending up with a more geometric, boxy kind of configuration. So this one comes over, so it's a little bit darker. And through here, so there's another hexagonal move here. I'll put a little dot to where it was there. I can connect that up, right? Maybe I'll go in this direction. And so we're just creating a series of flow boxes, and this was a side maybe that ended up back in through here. It doesn't have to make sense. Maybe it should make sense. I don't think this is making a lot of sense, but it's awful fun to see what you can do with different forms as they move around, as you can change them. Because part of the idea is to remember that you're in control. You want to be in control of your drawings almost all the time, but not necessarily all the time. There's reasons to break that up. You're doing flowy washes. You're doing maybe large contemporary type expressive drawings of some sort, and the idea is to not have control. That's an idea as well. Okay, so this could be some kind of, maybe this is like a jumping pad, and kids could jump into a soft area, who knows, in through there, right in through there. All right, so they're coming around, they're wrapping through, and then we're coming on in this direction, in through here. So we're kind of coming down, we're coming down in through here. So this might take over in this direction. So I might have, it could be all completely closed. Where do they actually come in? We don't know yet, right? So I'm going to come down here. I'm just winging it all the way through. Make sure I stay in my camera here so you can see that. This might have a plain break here because I want it to be there. Okay. More windows here, more windows. If I want the top, I could put them on the side if I wanted to. And through here, all right. So I'm going to go ahead a little bit and see what happens. So we've got a boxy form through here. Let's take it up a little bit. So they have to climb maybe inside somehow like this. And maybe this does round out a little bit, and then they come back down. So I'm still thinking about that blue flow of lines, but I'm going to change and alter as per needed. Maybe they come up and through here. Right, maybe this comes back down. Okay, it sits down maybe here, so I'll put an angled plane. I'll angle this off little bit. I'm just talking through what I'm trying to create as I'm doing it on the fly. Here to there, that's a kind of a plane change back in this direction, right? Everything moves back and through there. We'll continue on with some windows on this plane with 3 there. I like that as I'll keep that as kind of a curve. I'll tighten that and just keep that as a little bit of a curve. And through there. This might give a little expression there. Okay. So now what I'm thinking is this kind of comes over and up, and I'm thinking about this going straight up. So I'll kind of come through here. Here's the back side, excuse me, whoops, here's the left side of it, and then it's going to go straight up. And I'm thinking straight up here. Here's a plane change there. Maybe this comes down and changes right there. Keep my form. This I'm going to make a softer curve, just for contrast. So a hard edge, right, against a curved edge, or a straight edge against a curved edge is a contrast, right? Yep. If you're nodding your head, you've got it. So all kinds of degrees of contrast and value. Most people talk about contrast and value, but you know, edge to edge, soft versus hard, man, woman, hot, cold, red, green, all kinds of different contrasts we can utilize. So, okay, so now I'm going to come up and I'm going to conceive of this top area as maybe like the second, like these are might be like 2 little home bases. So this one I'm going to conceive here. Let's see, make sure I get that in the camera. And we're going to turn it this way first. So I'm conceiving it as like a tire or a donut, which was an egg form or ball form, and then I cut out an ellipse here, right? Maybe I'll move the structure of that ellipse, move back in that direction. Don't be afraid to draw little arrows if you need to. And then I'm going to make it into a sort of hexagonal kind of thing. And I think lastly there'll be a bridge in between here and here that they can connect to, and then maybe up in the back side of this bottom, maybe make it a little bit more like a cone in through here. Here's the cone I'm thinking of, right in through there, and then somewhere where it cones out in the other side where they can go through, and I think that'll end it. So all right, so here's the side plane of that. So I try to show 3 sides to most of my forms if I can. Not always, but if I can. Could do a little quick shading in here, just to butt my edge. Okay, let's make this a kind of a fun, more planar kind of donut shape. Now I've got it very gestural in here. Let's see what I can do now with, you know, finishing it out a little bit. Of course, this might come down here. Let me finish that. I may make a change there to say that's going to change from a tube, and then that will connect back up a tube. So there are many different kind of ways for them to get in and out of spaces. Maybe they get lost, but not for too long. And through there, etc. Okay, so now let's take this and we'll start to square this off a little bit. Okay. In through here, and I'm going to see a plane change there, kind of a wedge, so it's a boxy shape. So in our smash up, we went from a rounded form, and now we're going to make it back, or make it to actually a square kind of form, because we can do that. Your imagination is ample enough to alter, to change, to magnify, to manipulate, to move around, to change, to add to. It's fluid. Let your mind start to be even more fluid. So we can go up here a little bit for a change direction. Okay, here and here. And so each time I'll come around a little bit, I'll make a different kind of plane to move through, and I'll just connect them up in through here. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe I'll come here now. And maybe here, Okay. And I think maybe one more to have the top will be plenty. So I'm thinking that to that. So you see my thinking. Okay. I'm vacillating now between a pen holding method and a palm method as well. Do there, do there. Okay, and over. Right. So I might come back over this way and a little bit down, a little bit over, and just keep on making little angles as I get through, and then connect up maybe right in through there, so we get the back side of that form in through there. And of course we could do the same thing inside here, or we could make it maybe a little bit different. We could put like a triangular kind of form in through here. I'll show you. So maybe something like this over to this, right, for the opening. It can be different, and then maybe this connects up somehow to that. There we go. We've got that in there. I can kind of cut that top off. Maybe make that a little nicer in through there. I could take my eraser a little bit and kind of just ease off some of this gesture through here. Ease off the arrow a little bit, so we got that. And then underneath I might say, okay, this is a plane going back here, right? And so this could be a plexiglass window in through here where all the kids could say, hey, I can see you on the other side over here to here. So that might be something they could do here on this side, maybe. Okay. And so our little bridge across, maybe that's made out of glass, so maybe it connects up on the triangular end here, okay? And then I'm gonna raise it higher here. Okay, I'm gonna make it hopefully feel like it's a little bit more transparent. So it needs a top and a little thickness. I'll put the thickness here like so we can just get an idea of that. And if we saw through that, maybe the other thickness would look something like that. So I give a little bit of expression. So we would see underneath this kind of tube. Of course, that tube goes out to nowhere now. And so now I'd say, okay, maybe it goes into 3 different sections. And so if it's this bridge is glass, we can see through it. And maybe it's got 3 different cones that connect up in through there. Here, here, right? Into there, to there. And so we're just having fun playing with whatever is going to happen in through there. So there's our sphere coming through. Kind of like a sphere, right? Where they all come together. It's like this could be like a cool little meeting space or cross space underneath. So if this is glass, let me give it a little, maybe it's kind of reflective. Through here. Just kind of try to make it feel like it's glass really quickly. Well, on the fly here, quick as I can. We can still see through all that. Okay, I think we're coming to the ending point of this. So I'll step back and take a look. And so we're doing the great form smash up. If you're just joining us on this part of it, kind of skimming through. Skim through videos, look what you want, watch what you want. Don't watch others, it's okay. Do that with a lot of other artists. I really propose that you look at a lot of different artists and a lot of different videos. Find somebody locally that you like to study with and go to town. Really, really enjoy it. So this came in. I'm going to make this like so and out just for effect in through here. And I'll put just a little bit of extra shadow, just a quick kind of gestural shadow. I can be the final one will take a really long time, and I'll really do some shading to play around with it. And this could have little variations there and there. This could come across. Just shading across just to show that moving across. And there we go. So we have our form number 2 now, drawing number 2 of our children's kind of play funhouse. Remember, I started out with gesture first, the idea of flow and rhythm and movement through. And then I just started in through here, and we just went around, and we started to make rounder kind of forms, and then we ended up making more soft kind of boxes. And so if they came out somewhere, maybe they would, where would be a exit point? Maybe there's the door here. This is the in and out part of our fun house, maybe right in through here a little bit. Entrance and exit, right? Come back in through here, and we'll just darken all that in. So it's darker in through there. There could be all kinds of music playing, and cool, there could be places where they could have food. And of course, they'd probably, you know, if it's a true amusement park type thing, there would be a gift shop in there, so you'd have to go through the gauntlet, right, of the gift shop. So those of you that are parents, you understand that, or grandparents or not, you'll understand what goes on with that too as well. Okay, so there's our little entrance and our exit. They would enter here and go through, have a good time, and come on out through there. Okay, so let's go on to one more. Let's do one more together, and then I'll pick the one I like the best, and then I'll do a kind of a finished drawing from that. Okay, see you in a second. Okay, so for this last demonstration, I'm going to be using pit pens. I haven't used these pens in a while, so I'm going to use, I've got two small sanguine colors, and I've got two of the small nibbed, the darker brown color. So I think I'll do the lay-in with the sanguine, and I might touch things up a little bit with the darker brown color. So that's what I'm using, and of course I've got my trusty hard edge when I need it. Okay, so this will be the third drawing in this little demo lecture on great form smash-ups too, using traditional materials. And I always try to vary things so you see it in different processes. If you have a favorite medium out there, use it more often than the other ones. But if I can get you to be bold and to get away from your favorites and use others, I think you'll be more versatile and hopefully more happier. All right, so for this one, I might start out with, make sure we're on screen here, maybe a rounded spherical form. So we'll start there. And I might start, instead of kind of building off one, I'll build this whatever structure I'm going to do in multiples around, and then find a way to maybe bring them all together. So I might have another one, like a rounded spherical form here. Nice and large. I like drawing nice and loose and large too, and small and loose and small and tight. So I've got that one, and maybe there's going to be an egg form over here. Okay, and then I haven't pre-planned this, so I'm composing with you guys, you ladies and gentlemen out there. So maybe we've got another egg form here, and then maybe another one here, and let's see what happens. So maybe if it's going to be an amusement kind of playground tunnel thing where kids go in, you know, how can maybe get from one to the other and around. So maybe I'll do something, we come through a flow like this, then up and over and around. That could be a possibility. I'm drawing with pens, so it better be a possibility since I can't erase. But I can draw darker and darker, and it will kind of in some ways disappear. So I might have something going on back here, like a cone here. So if you're just joining us and you're seeing this one, what I'm doing in this lesson of the great form smash-up in our basics lessons is taking all of our essential tools, our forms, the cube, the sphere, the cone, the cylinder, right, the pyramid, the egg form, and combining them, smashing them up, stretching and elongating in ways that can give us some new ideas about basic drawing. And then here we're drawing just purely from our imagination, which is important, very, very important too as well. So I might come over here, and this might flow somehow. Maybe it's going to curve around, and maybe this would be a tube. Come in through here. So I'm thinking about how are these going to be connected in some way. So maybe they all have some interconnected way through here, then back over. in this situation. Then I don't know, back and through and over. So this is about flow and rhythm and direction. And maybe there's this kind of centralized point where they would all come together. So it's seemingly already kind of becoming like tubes in spheres or egg forms, right? So I'm going to try to work in some blocks in through there. And of course I've got some cones back there as well. So if I take, let me go end to end here. So maybe these are like big rounded rooms for kids to play in. And they have these back kind of shell things where there's something even cooler here. Maybe it looks like there's windows. This would be windows. We're looking at, now the scale is pretty large if you think about it, because kids could be running in through here. Maybe the kid, a child, maybe about no more than 3 feet tall, maybe 3 or 4 feet. So maybe there's a big window in through here, and there's going to be another window maybe on this side that can come around and give that feeling of windows kind of all over, and you'd see them inside. They'd be playing in the inside. So, but to get from one room to the other, they may have to go through a series of tubes and tunnels, right? So this might be a whole schematic plan where this is on maybe a half acre of land or something along that line, or I don't know what kilohectare. I don't know what I don't know what the metric system is in European and other nations. Unfortunately, us folk here in the U.S., we tend to be behind in some things. So we don't do the metric system. So acres. So maybe this is on a half acre. So maybe this comes around, and I like to, this goes overlap. This could be another tube, and maybe there could be windows throughout here. Maybe some oblong kind of windows. So what are we using? We're using the cylinder, right? And we're using the spherical, maybe even an egg form. So maybe this has like a big cool kind of antenna coming out. So that could be like a little small tube, and this is a ball on top of it. Okay. Who knows? And maybe it's like a satellite. Maybe this could be some kind of large thing here, and they could come out in this direction. Here, like so. Put a little highlight mark. So what are we working with? Smashing and combining spheres now in cylinders in some hopefully interesting way too. So as they come through here, we may come around, another cylinder, ellipse, right? This is a window, could be a window in through here and through there, coming around through. And this might come in like a tube. It connects like a shuttle way if you want, or a walkway. So it'd be a side window through here. They might be in this direction, coming in this direction. Then I might make this room more, this is kind of looking like a swan too, if you think about the body coming down, but I don't know if I would stay there. So, I mean, that's a initial idea I just had, but I don't think I'm going to work with it. So, and the reason why is I want to make this a different kind of form. Maybe this is going to be a blockier kind of form. We'll come in through here, block it down a little bit, maybe make it more of an octagon or maybe a hexagon, I'm not sure yet. So I changed things up a little bit as we worked around. So putting planes now in my form here and here, we can go around something like that. Remember, we're just winging it. These are like studies, and I'm going to pick the one of the three that I like the best, and then I'll do a final, more kind of polished drawing from it, and add to and take away. That's right, even take away if I don't like things later on. So, in through here. So we've got this kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 octagon room going on through here. And so this tube comes in, and of course it connected through, kind of right in through in this direction. I can put a little bit of hatching marks just to show plain directions for now. And maybe it's got a nice window. Maybe all of this this was see-through glass, and we looked down. That could give you a little scale in through here, where this was a large room here and here, coming across there, and maybe over. And so, and of course, it would have windows. We want to have a lot of windows so kids could look out, parents could see their kids playing. And so maybe some of the windows would coincide there. So a child's scale might be, you know, here. So if that may be a boy, then maybe there's a girl with a dress. I'll just give a triangle for a dress. So there may be a child's on the ground playing or whatever. So it's a nice room to bounce around. It's nice and safe and soft material. So that gives you there a little scale of maybe what they could be doing. And so maybe we come through. Remember, it's fantasy, so have fun with it. It's not reality for sure. So this would come and connect over through here. So maybe this tube would come over. Maybe it would come underneath and connect up down in the floor somewhere, and it would come back underneath. We'll figure out the particulars much, much later. So this is a tube. You know, it could be one cylinder. You could think of it as one large cylinder going through, right? Or we can start to say, okay, we've got that. They could be even see-through all the way through. And then maybe it gets wider. I'll make it a little darker so you can see it. I want this one to come up so you can see how it attaches. So I might come up even larger and actually make it turn this way. So it turns a little bit, and then connects to the sphere, kind of like this. So if we saw through that, we might see the opening, which can be really round, kind of like that. So I'm thinking about a series of tubes, right? This might curve now this way, nicely in through here, because we're looking kind of like we're seeing through it for now. And so we've got our next form in through there. All right, so let's keep going through. So we'll work with this large kind of sphere. Maybe it's going to sit on the ground, so it'd be a little bit flattened. Although that's a lot of reality. We could keep it fantasy. But anyway, we'll say it's flattened a little bit just for the sake of it. So we'll keep this pretty round. So I'm working with the circle to make a ball, like so. And then to maybe play around with the spherical component, I might draw an ellipse or two. Feel the ellipse coming through. Feel these concentric latitude and longitude lines, so it really feels, you know, volumetric. So what would happen if we get to the other side? I might draw a little line through here and say, that's kind of a passageway too, right? So it's going to come in and come out kind of that way. So maybe this could be like a really soft platform here across, so kids could play across this tunnel platform if we saw through it, right, and through here, and then they could jump off to maybe a foot or two, right, and then this whole area would be like big kind of beach balls, so you could kind of get lost in the beach balls, and maybe the floor of that would be down not too far. We don't want to get them too buried in there. What's the idea of having these little large, soft kind of ball structures that people could play, adults or kids maybe, too as well. So it's kind of like an obstacle course, and that's something that maybe I could, you know, develop from this great Smashup ideas, you know, doing an optical course maybe through there. So we have that through, and so maybe there's a big kind of air opening, you know, with a lid. So we have that. So we're just working on our form Smashup, just drawing simple forms. And so maybe this is like a screen where air can come in, weather on a nice day, and it could kind of close up, you know, when it's raining outside. So you have that. So, and then maybe we'll put some of these kinds of things maybe back over through here for a cool kind of effect, like these little antennas or Tinker Toys. You've ever had those with a kid? Maybe one there. So I think about the direction. I'll put a couple here. I want to go pretty fast. And through here, so I'm going to keep it really loose and sketchy. So I'm just thinking about direction, closing the tube up, kind of like a lollipop, and then putting, you know, a sphere, a ball in through there as well. So you'd come down your platform here. This would be a flat plane or a box, right? So it's kind of a box, top of a box or a plane, and the kids would jump off and play in the soft styrofoam, foamy kind of soft foam balls. But this would be, maybe it could be all see-through coming through. All right, so maybe some of these would be in a way maybe over here, just to give a little bit more symmetry and balance to our little our smash up design challenge. I could bring that angle over here really quickly, like so. I want to make this rounded, even though it's going to sit on the ground. We'll find a way to keep it not from tipping over. All right, so now we got to come over through here. And so I like this whole meeting place in through here. Maybe that's going to be a meeting disc, like a platform in through here, and it would have like a little caged. It would be high enough, maybe it's made out of plexiglass, that nobody could fall through. And so you could, or go over the edge, and so you could come in and play in through there. So there could be a tunnel through here. So here's another form we can mold together. Cylinder back into here, so the side of this ball might be right in through here. This would come down like that. This could come down like that. And that would be another tunnel, escape tunnel, that kids could go through, walk through there. This could be the flat part of the platform. And then everybody can meet up in through there. So this is all going to be a meet-up spot in through there. All right, so let me push forward, keep on going. So we've got a tube here. It comes over. Okay, and through here. Maybe I'll overlap a little bit. So there it comes through, and that's where it connects. And this overlaps because that's in front, right? Through there. So notice how we could be really loose and quick and very sketchy with our idea. Stop and take a drink if you need. Step back and look and see what's happening. And then, so this is a tunnel. This is just concentric, circular tube-like forms, really loosening it up, and they become, you know, cylindrical, cylinder kind of forms in our composition. There's our tube right in through there. And that's a tunnel coming through. So the kids will come through here, play in through here, jump over, walk and run through here. And of course there'd be windows on the side so you can look and see out. Side over here. Do that. And this would disappear on that side over. Maybe we could see through a little bit. One through there. And then this would be kind of a oblong egg shape, like so, with the back kind of pointing through here, coming over. So I'm just feeling these rounded qualities. Maybe this is going to have a big window through here, where we can see. So here's the floor, and through here coming over, some sub windows over and through there. And as we come, so maybe there's the floor in through here. There's a little boxy floor, right? It's the top plane of a box coming through. Okay, maybe it comes down, it comes down, it comes down like that. This could be gymnastics kind of thing. You could play around. Who knows what you could do. So there could be a window on this side too as well. I don't know how you build this, but I don't care. All right, and so coming out the other side, maybe this goes for a loop somehow. I can draw it. I don't know if I can engineer it, but that's another thing. So we could come through here, and this could kind of fold. This would fold underneath like so. This would get really punctuated where that would curve together underneath. So this would darken through here, and it would come underneath. This is all tunnels. Of course, this would be a meet-up tunnel in through here. Maybe it could be a sub-tunnel. The kids could come through, maybe up in through here. And on over, down to our meet-up space. Outside, so maybe this could deep go down a little bit. So kids might stand here, right? So there'd be all kinds of kids playing or doing whatever. I can put just people standing, smaller kind of people. So you can get this sense of scale now of how big this might be. And so again, they would be moving in through here, walking through the tunnel. I don't know if I want to have a curved floor, if I'd put a straight floor through there, but I don't care right now windows to see through. This whole thing could be painted maybe in really bright, bright colors too. Window through here, window on the outsides, and through here. Okay, then we'd come through, back up and around and connect up with this ball, like so. I could show the sides, see how they connect. And of course, this is like the tube connecting into the sphere. The sphere is over and through here. Like a mad scientist invention, maybe. Who knows? And then there's another connective tube we would see it would be underneath a little bit, which would get us over into here and through. So kids could walk through and through here. So if we could see through, there'd be people about that size, maybe falling through, etc. and so on. Window. Some nice windows in through there. Let it be weird, right? Great form, Smashup number 2, and we're kind of designing something to now as we go through. So to end off this, in through here, maybe this is where it exits out, entrance and exits that go around. So they'd have to come through here, wouldn't they? Back in through, down and through here. This could be a dead end. They have to go back through and come out. Maybe there's going to be some kind of maybe different rounds of floors through here you could go through. Maybe there's an opening and a ladder that goes down, maybe. What are we drawing here? Ellipses. Ellipses. Ellipses, right? Another ellipse. Another ellipse till they get to the bottom, and then they could ladder back up however they want. Or that could be even a slide back on through. So this is an opening in through here, and there could be a big window here, maybe a big window. It's kind of looks like a face, maybe big window in through here to see through. Or maybe this is all transparent. Lots of ideas to work with. Okay, all right, so I think we're just about there. I might take these little design ideas and maybe I could go forward with them and put these over. These are just aesthetic. They really don't have any structural purpose. Most of all this, right, is aesthetic, since it's just sketching idea. Okay, through here, maybe there's another one over. So just kind of really quick sketch tubes in rounded forms. And then I could maybe I should take a Sharpie. That brown, the brown might not be dark enough, or I could take maybe even a Carbothello pencil will work nice on ink. And I just spend 3 or 4 minutes and just start to shade just a little bit where you can see that working through a little bit. So that's a little softer pencil, Carbothello pencil. So I changed up my material, sorry about that. So Carbothello pencil, just to give you a little volume of what could be possible there. So I got to think about which one I'm going to pick, and then I'm going to do a longer drawing from it. And spend a little bit more time with it, because these are hexagonal through there. So here I just want to get the idea of what's going on. Forms, 3D, three-dimensional forms, cubes, spheres, cylinders, pyramids. I think we just about got everyone. Maybe the pyramid didn't quite emerge, but that's okay. You don't have to use every one. Concepts, good concepts, it's important. Okay, through here. Just give a little attention through here. I'm just going along and I'm emphasizing three-dimensionality. That's all I'm doing. Nothing special. Running through. This is like a whole floor in through here. So you can start to see what that starts to look like. Give a better idea what's going on in through there. What's nice about working in pen is you can erase, and then your lines, your solid lines, hold up nicely in through there. Okay. So I'm just going to emphasize some of the bottoms of these three-dimensionally so you can kind of see them. Give a little bit more weight to it really quickly. You know, these could call this a concept sketch, design sketch. You can use this in many kind of ways. Concept, design. But here we're just taking three-dimensional tools, and we're still leaving a certain amount of their integrity intact, right? So we still can see the 3D representation of them, the cube, the sphere, the cylinder. You know, later on when you get even more advanced and you start working with the figure more so, or other more complex forms, animal type forms, you lose them all completely. That's what makes drawing so hard, is they're there, you're playing hide and seek with them. They're there to seek you, for you to seek out, right? But it gets even harder the more that they don't show up, and that's my job, is to help you through these extra lectures, is to see that for my students at NKU and then regional kid, anybody out there. Yeah, this is for everybody, for the world too as well. So I could push this a little darker. This is glass, maybe kind of plexiglass. I could kind of show that through. Okay, I think you get the idea. All right, so when I come back, I'll have picked one and I'll have it floating up in the picture plane, and I'll come back and have a nice clean sheet of paper, and I'm going to start to work with a new drawing, and it's going to be based off one of my favorites, and which I don't know yet. And then I'm going to go back and redesign it. Stay within the parameters of our project here, but then develop it further from there. Okay? All right, that's what's coming next. I'll see you in just a second. All right, so now we're going to take one of these three drawings, and I'm going to tell you which one I picked to kind of further develop a little bit and why. So I've got the three drawings that we've done in our Smashup series, section 2, the Great Smashup 2. And I'm going to choose this one. This is the first one I did, and I don't necessarily think it's as inventive as the other two, but, and of course you could argue maybe either way, but I do think it's the most interesting and best designed or curvilinear designed rhythmic pose. And for that reason, because of its enough of its playfulness, and I like how the forms are jammed together, I'm going to further develop this one. I think the other two are okay, with the last one being my least one that I'm interested in. And the middle one, I could maybe go back and develop that too. But definitely the last one I did, the third one, I'm really not interested in pushing any far forward. And I think that's a lesson for everybody too. A couple of things. If you're working for yourself, then you can please yourself with your drawing, meaning that you can choose whatever design you want. If you're working professionally for a client, this has happened to me, and this has happened to several friends that I know have worked with clients, shoe designers, illustrators, graphic designers, is that ultimately you may love a design or may love a color that you're using or a composition, but it's your job to convince the client. But if the client wants something different or wants to go in a different direction, you're going to have to follow that lead, even though you may have professionally the better design direction, and you think and believe with your whole thought processes and feelings and whatnot that it's better. Ultimately, they're gonna win out. So there's a kind of detachment that you want from your designs, I think, if you're working for a client. So having said that, that's my spiel. That's my thoughts on that. So I'm going to go back and use the same materials that I used for the drawing here. And this is kind of looking like an insect. So I want to maybe play off that a little bit more as we refine it. I think just a little bit further in the composition. And I think also what I'll do is I'll put down a compositional border too as well. in meaning that I'll make this a little smaller drawing, but so I can put a little bit more refinement in there, so that way I can zoom in maybe a little bit closer to you. So I think that's what I'll do now, and I'll do this so you can see this maybe in the camera. So I'm just going to put down a graphite line here and just reduce my picture plane size a little bit here. Okay. It maybe come down to about, I don't know, right in through there a little bit. And then over to here. There we go. Great. And so now I'll take my eraser and I'll erase this line, doing a little neater job here. Check that out. Craftsmanship is always important. Okay, so go get started here. And so now I'm drawing from a drawing, an idea, now we're using the same technique of this great Smashup drawing right, but now I'm going to be drawing from a drawing and seeing how maybe I can further that a little bit better. So let's pull in a little bit so we can see this maybe a little bit better. Okay, there we go. It looks pretty good. All right, so now I'll get started, and we want to play off, this design further. So I'm going to start out now with gesture, and remember, I have license to change what it is I might want to be doing with this design. So I might come through here working with kind of what I feel like is the head. So the entrance and the exit are kind of together, which I like. If this was kind of a big amusement, walk through with children, they would be close together so parents maybe could stand in the middle. So that would be kind of cool. So I may not change a whole lot. I may come through here, and this has got a round, feeling that I really like. I don't know how the engineering would work, how the kids would stay in there, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll let the engineer figure that out. And I do like this thing back here, so I may not change a whole lot. I'm just going to refine it, make it a little bit stronger, and you can see that process too as well. So we're coming in through here, we're coming around, right? Kind of world view, whirlwind, windmill maybe, and it comes through, then on over. So this time I want to keep everything in my picture plane. I kind of got out of the picture plane just a little bit there. So maybe there, and this comes maybe higher. Comes all the way through, and of course it will come in and down and all the way out. So now I'm sketching, what I want to do with my forms in a very loose kind of gestural lay-in of my composition. So that's kind of what I'm feeling with my design as it kind of comes through here in whirlwinds and comes on out too as well. So we've got that. All right, so now I can start in through here and start to play around and organize and design, forms a little bit better, a little bit maybe more clear, maybe stronger as we work through. So I've got now this form in through here, and remember we kind of started with, if you remember, a box. So I'm going to put this box maybe here, through here. So it's kind of blocky as it starts out. So that was our boxing through there. Later on you do this, you don't have to be so hardcore with your forms. You can imply them without having to draw every single, hard edge kind of shape, unless you just, just really want to. So this kind of came down maybe as a tongue in through here. So I might take my edge actually. Just do a little bit of defining and through here. You can define, and through there. Come on through. So can you name all the forms that you're smashing into? Even this little thing can be like an egg form. So you can really go deep into your subform. So this comes across in perspective like that, and then of course I curve this out a little bit like that. It's kind of a cheek maybe, kind of a cheek, kind of a chubby cheek. maybe in through here. And I did like that tongue in through here, so I might raise that through a little bit. So remember, this whole design, if it's at the scale of maybe like a 3 foot or 4 foot child, of course they would enter in through here. So I'm thinking in my mind, I would tell my client, well, yeah, all this is soft sculpture. Maybe it's air sculpture or very, very soft architectural type of foam, so we don't, we don't hurt anybody. So maybe that would come around like that. And so this might say, so I might take this form and find its center right here and say, okay, it comes back out kind of in that direction. That's where maybe my tongue would go to if we wanted to be really technical. And so how does that tongue kind of fall? It kind of reminds me of the Rolling Stones logo, which I'm a huge fan of Stones, through here. So that comes on out. And this might kind of come out, instead of curving in through here, I could over curl it. I think I'll over curl this way just for a different effect, or in through here and then out, and then I want my tongue to kind of end here. And so this is like a rounded egg form. Do you see that here? And this could be like a tube or even a blocky form where this comes out and over like so. So if this form is coming up, I might follow this curve for this side. This raises in here, like so. And this would kind of come over and then go maybe up and then start to curl up and over. And of course we could give it a little bit of a thickness if we want for effect. And that's where the blockiness comes in. This is kind of like the side of a block here and here, if you would. We could give it that thickness there. Of course I could have a little shadow on it later if we wanted to, right in through there. And so I like this design of this thing kind of coming over. It's kind of weird, I like that. There, I kind of tighten up my edge here, and this kind of flows in together with a smash up. What I mean by smash up is they join together. It's kind of just a fancy catchword for video. We're just joining forms together if you wanted to be dry and technical, which is fine too. So we're kind of joining these forms together. So we've got that. And so this is kind of a tunnel, isn't it? So we come around. This might close down a little bit like so, but then I like this rounded, cheeky little thing here. And then this to emphasize the boxy quality right in through here. I might bring that, see how I bring this all the way over to there. So our forms have a relationship to the cube, the sphere, and the cylinder, but they're not in necessarily complete, perfect form or perspectival order, which is fine. We are creating, and we can adjust, distort as per your needs and wishes and wants. So remember that. Unless there's a reason not to. Sometimes there will be. Alright, so we've got that coming down and over. I'll close this. You could maybe emphasize like teeth a little bit. Maybe just, this could be, let me see if I like this. I could kind of curve this. Yeah, I kind of like that. So I'm going to leave that be. It's kind of a little funky. It's almost got like a little teeth at the top of the mouth and through here. And so this is where maybe there's an inside part of our boxy form. And this would go back maybe here. All the way through, maybe. Something like that. Maybe here on the other side. Too, like that as well. So I'm going to keep this curved and then down and over. There we go. Alright, so let's keep going in through here. So, working through, this kind of feels, remember the tube quality that we had here. I don't want to lose that. I like that quality. So I'll keep that going here and over. If I drew it all the way through, which is really important and smart thing to do. I don't always do it. and through here. So I kind of like now, I like the antenna coming out. I'm going to keep that here in this little ball thing that goes on here. So these are like cones, right? You can see that. And then they start to curve around a little bit. Like so. I'm going to get a little bit more organic. I'll go back and tighten these in later. In through here. Coming on through. Walking through here, you come over. So I keep this rhythm as I come over, and then this is going to wind up over here, which I still like as a design. I like this design for the most part. And through here. Now, these could be eyeballs, or they could be just sort of insect-like, you know, antenna. And through here. And so I thought about maybe putting like some eyes over in this area. So I like this fold coming over. Whatever that means, but just thinking of a design aesthetic. Just to give some feeling of going back in space. And I like the way this kind of curls over. Like so. So like that. So this is kind of my center. I'm finding my center of my form. Right, here's my cone in through here, cone in through here. Here's the center of all of this coming back in that way. And so if I put little eyes, I could put a ball here for maybe a side eye, and a ball here for maybe an eye on the side. Let's see how that looks here, in here. And I could have a beady kind of Kermit the Frog eye here. Then maybe we'd see a little bit over there. That looks kind of fun, maybe. Maybe you don't think it's fun. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see. Alright, so I think I'm going to leave that. This will get on here. Tighten this up a little bit. Okay. And so I'll put my eye. Okay, so we have two spheres in there. All right, so now we've still got these little divots, these little little craters. I want to keep those in. I don't mind their placement so much. Here, maybe one here, but it opens in, so they go down a little bit. These are like ellipses or half circles where they go down in some. Maybe over and through here, this could be a little bigger, maybe. Open it up a little bit. Okay. So we've got that. So moving through this area, so this is kind of where we had my little back tube in through here. Okay. And so now we want to I kind of squared this off in through here. So I may want to work it in this direction. So this kind of goes back in space. So this could be like a long, thin box that you can think about as a form, right? Or it could be a tube. It could be a little bit of both if you want. And so that's how we think about forms. This is real foreshortened, right in through here. It curls around. I might do a little bit more through here and around there. Of course, later that eye is going to be somewhere there like that. So this could kind of come around. I could lose that box. I could lose all the boxiness in through here if I want. I'm going to keep it just for variety's sake. Continue. I'll lose it. I'll have a little bit more of a curve here, right? And I'll lose it about right here and make it a little bit more boxy and through there. So when I'm drawing very broadly still. I'm using the side of my pencil in a palm method. For some of you, that's going to be very uncomfortable. You don't have to do that. It's not a requirement or a requisite. It's just the way I do things for now. And then you can go back and tighten this up. Matter of fact, we could scan this or take a JPEG, a high-res 4K JPEG, and put it into the Cintiq and Photoshop and work it that way too. All right, so we have this coming in, and so this starts a curling device where it comes in through here, comes down, and starts to curl in through here somehow. Don't worry about the physics, just draw it and enjoy it, right? So we come in through here. I think it's really fun to take your designs, draw from your designs, and refining. It's a lot of fun, a lot of satisfaction from that. So we take this curvature, of course this is going to S around, and see that nice flow through here. It's going to S around, curl around. I may push this negative space. See how this opening is about the same size? Instead of doing that, I'm going to curl it way on over and have a little bit more fun with it here. But I've got to make sure that it winds up, down, and in, and it does come through and finish up at the exits, which is a little bit at a diagonal, which I like too. So I'm going to feel this all the way through and out a little bit, coming down here. There we go. In this direction. It moves over here. Not sure what to use as a metaphor for the exit yet. Maybe there could be a little head over here, tailed or something. And down, maybe out here. So I see designers and entertainment designers drawing in a different type, all kinds of materials, from graphite to pen and ink to ballpoint pen to collage to digital. Try to keep it varied. So we have this kind of exit here, right? And there's this kind of ramp. Instead of a ramp, I think there needs to be something a little bit better. Maybe another tongue. Maybe that would be, more interesting. So it comes in through here, while kind of comes on over, and kids and people could come out this way, like so. So this is like an egg form, and this is kind of a boxy form. Here's the side of it. If you want to be a little bit more geometric, you could do that. Right? Coming out there a little bit. Through here. And that would come over. So another big kind of double-mouthed monster. So the beginning is like the ending, I suppose, where you come out. And maybe we'd put like a little bottom down here. A little gap in through there, maybe. Who knows? Okay. So we'll bring this over. But I won't put any teeth or antenna. But we'll have a mouth in through there. But I do like these little divot marks. So this is still kind of blocky over and through here, so I'll keep it sort of kind of blocky, even though we can feel, see how contouring, I feel that around. And of course this could come down like that again, right? And maybe it's got some more of these sort of ladybug, divot marks of whateverness. Don't necessarily know what they are. It's okay. Right. Maybe there's another one on the side. One over here. And maybe one down over here. Coming through. This maybe kind of licks up a little bit. And through there. Okay, so let's move on now to over here a little bit. First, let me sharpen just a little. Tighten that point. Okay, so we'll move through here. So I like this vortexy thing that's coming through. And so now we'll come in. This curls over. This is kind of like a little ball area to help me conceive of it. And through here. These are, you know, all just tubes, long tubes of concentric movement and flow, right? You help yourself out and do this kind of thing when you're drawing, and that tells you, can tell you what you are, or where you're at kind of in perspective a little bit. Like this would turn here, this would come over a little bit, and through here, and be up and around. So I need to tie in this area up to here. How do I do that? Flow through, draw through. See how I can draw through? You can barely see it, and I want it to connect because there's a little bit of negative space in between. See how they'll connect up? I could even put my ruler there for a little bit. You can draw curves with rulers if you want. It would take a long while. So we have that, and so this now can move through. It's kind of like a conch shell. This overlaps a little bit and through here. And see how I can bring, I did it in my first drawing, my first diagram sketch. And see how I can bring it over here. And who knows where it winds up to. I don't really care. I don't worry about the true rational engineering of it until I have to. And that's something that, you know, an architect, I think, I'm not an architect, so don't hold me to this, but you know, you can push engineers and scientific architectural engineers. You design it, and you know, they can rack their brain trying to figure it out. Yeah, I have a modern home. It's a butterfly roofed modern home, and it's some strange engineering design feats that would have to be pulled off. It was built in '58. I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall in some of those conversations when the architect was communicating with the engineer. I think that would have been interesting. So remember, this is an eyeball here. So I do like that because it differentiates this head kind of from this ending point, which is sort of like a head. I really didn't want to draw a rear end over here, a butt. I didn't think that was so cool, you know, in a design where people would come out of. I don't think they necessarily want to come out of that end. So I didn't want to say anything, but I guess I will. So I made it another kind of mouth thing. So this is the entrance here, and they go through the amusement part of it, the walk around and play around the soft forms and have little adventures, and then they come out this end. So that's kind of like another mouth. So like so. So maybe it should be two heads to make it really distinctive. Maybe I should make another eye. So I guess I will. So I'm trying to convince myself that that's probably what's best. So let's put another one, an eye over here, and then let's put an eye kind of down here underneath this little antenna. And I'm going to just gently, I don't erase too often. I'm going to gently just tone this back a little bit so we can see it. So this will be another eyeball here, like so. And maybe this time, so this is just, what kind of form is it? It's an egg form or spherical form. We don't see all of it over here, but we could draw through, and maybe it's got, just to differentiate from that one, maybe it's got like a eyelid thing coming over. this pops over and then kind of curls in like so. So I'll draw that. And then maybe the eye can be like that. With the pupil the iris into there, and then maybe later on it's going to have some super cool funky eyelashes. Maybe that's going to be the game. All right, so I can come over here a little bit and see, sometimes when I want to hold my pencil, I want a little bit more precision, and I can be a lot more precise. But for a little bit more precision for now, I'll hold my pencil in the palm, the writing method. And so I can come over here and be just a little bit more precise. So the eyelid, we might see just all of the eyelid on this one. We won't see any of the eyeball of the pupil, the iris into here. But we might see some eyelashes. Maybe they'll come out like this, in this direction. So we see something like that. So yeah, now that relates back to two heads. So I'm changing my design, continually altering and refining that which I need to conform to maybe, social norms. That's something else you'll run into if your design is pushing the boundary to a certain point. As a fine artist, theoretically you could do what you want. Nobody might look at it, but you could do what you want. But in the design profession, and designers will tell you that you're going to be limited by certain societal standard behavioral points, and that's probably an okay thing. All right, so we're coming through here. I could turn this. I might bulge this. See how I can bulge this? Just make it look a little bit more organic. Bulge. So I put an extra. These are like little sausagey forms, and they could just in here and not here, but I could come over and give that a little bit of a kick. Just tells me there's like a little tension, right? Where this is starting to really turn and twist over. So I could do that and then bulge it back in if I want. I could bulge it out and get, it helps me to know where these concentric areas. So it's one curve this way against another curve this way. Where they meet, it's darker. So this can bulge in like so. Kind of come on over and out like that. And then over, like so, just to give us a little bit more, fun and play. Because in the inside, I've got this negative space, and so you can see where I'm starting to do it over here in my diagram. And see, I can start to play this game. If it's not really a game, but it's a design choice where this starts to really turn in on itself here, and maybe here it wraps around the second level and through here like so, and maybe up and through, and then it really ends. You can see the definitive break here, right? And so this is kind of a shadow where it winds up being sort of a boxier form right in through here, and it's harder I need to show that a little bit maybe. I want to overlap that just a little bit there, and then continue on with that. That might wind up right in through there a little bit. I'll move this over maybe a little bit. Okay, so we have that. So they're starting to curl around, and then I can bring this over a little bit. Curl that through. Make it a little bit more organic. A little bit. So, I got that choice. Now, I've got a design decision. Do I want to take them on a journey through this cone kind of thing here? Or do I want to leave it out? I've been eyeballing it as we've been drawing. I've been thinking, do I really need it? Yeah, I think I do. I don't know if I need the secondary one in terms of design. I pulled it in diagonal. I think I'll leave both. I think Well, let me draw the first one in. Let's see. So it's a classic cone, right? We're talking about that. It kind of comes off to the back, and as this flows over, it kind of comes off to the side, right? So we see that. And I'm wondering if that's enough in terms of design. So let's see. Maybe I'll diminish this, make it more diminutive and smaller than what we have, and maybe it goes in more into a point. Maybe that's the problem. So these are the kinds of things that you think about in your mind. I'm just trying to bring them out to you folks, you guys, so you can see what my thinking is. So here, this kind of curls around and around. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with it now. So we'll bring that through here, bring it through there. Okay, got that. Okay, I'm going to curl this, soften this up a little bit. I don't want to have too many harsh angles in my design. This could come through here. There we go, like so. All right, so we're working on this back area. Let's sharpen up again. And you can tell, and I drew out of the picture plane a little bit, so that's why I wanted to keep it in. I want to trying to decide if I want to I'll draw a horizontal alignment line so you can see it. Right here, I'll do it in blue a little bit so you can see it. Do I want my design, do I want this to go over it, or do I want it to go underneath it? I think either way is important, but not to abut it, because I don't want a square in my design. So I think I'm going to make it dramatically underneath. So I'm going to bring this down, really curl this over like so. So this comes over. Here's the edge where it comes back. It hooks up to there. So I'm going to come over. I'm going to lighten this up a little bit. It gets a little bit mushy. So I'm going to come over and through here. Remember, these are concentric circles, so this is going to curl. So this is a design change. And we could take this drawing and do multiple views of this top, bottom, and then make a 3D maquette, 3D printer. You could do all kinds of things with this. Here. And then come over. This is where there's a lot of stress in the turn running through there. Running through there, right? Through there. Coming on through. And so this comes over. And I do want it wider to hook back up. You know, where would it come over? It could come over, we could keep going. You put a little mark like that to tell you what you wanted, and you can just curl it. So maybe all the way, that would match up like that. So that's pretty good. Like so. We might even see it. I don't want it to merge through here, so we'll do this to curl up a little bit more. This edge, and through there. All right, so I think we're on our way here. Coming through in our redesign. Concentric, 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 right? And just to be consistent, these little like whipper things, these little cones, maybe I need one or two over here where I don't want anything higher than this line in my design. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I'll come out this direction, I'll put a little line for my direction. Maybe even I'll push it over to give me a little bit more space, and I'll put a little cone here. These could be like little skylights, or they could crawl all the way up to the edge. This could be out of plexiglass and look through like so. And so maybe there needs to be more. Maybe there's one here. So they're cones that sit on the surface of the cylinder. Remember, this is a basic forms lesson that we're really starting to make complex. That's what we want to do, is start to move complex. Now, if I foreshorten that, it came right at us. That's a good problem. Look how it would look just like that. or it can make it off to the side or kind of up where it comes up. I think it's a better design not to have it foreshortened, but to come down maybe like that. So here's our cone here, right in there. Here's a little ending dot for it for now, and that's a better design, a better look, I think. Of course, you could put one maybe even over here if I wanted to, or maybe out. Maybe I'll do it on the outside. They're all seem to be on the outside. So relating back to that, I don't want the same angle. Can make it more acute or can make it up. I'll make it up underneath here for my design choice, and then through here and over here. And if we look through all this, it might connect up like that, and there would be our cone coming through. So a lot to take on, in through here, in through there. All right, so now we've got a basic design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this some more, and I'm going to come back and show you how just a few things, how I finish up so we can save time. Okay, stay tuned. I'll be right back. So I'm pushing on through with my final concept drawing of our smash up that we're doing, and I'm just using the colored pencils that I have here, doing a little form toning across the forms to make them look a little bit more rounded. I'm just using actually a Sharpie just to give a little bit of darker, thicker line, you know, where I need to. So I'm going to continue on and give you snippets of this process so I can expedite the video and you get an idea that style's not so much important as the first part of our drawing. So I'm going to keep on going and give you little insights as to what I'm doing throughout here, and I'll go through and I'll finish up in a little bit. Okay? All right. So stay tuned, and I'll keep showing you where I'm going through. I'm just going to take this idea, the styling, toning idea, and just take it all the way through. So I'm continuing on here as I'm rendering out really quickly and giving a little shade and little volume expression to the my concept design for a great smash up. So I'm going to leave this head of the exit part of the sculpture, amusement sculpture for children, more orangey, just to play around with the difference in the two heads here. So I'm working along here. And I'm just changing my color. By the way, orange, this orangey vermilion-y color and this blue work as a kind of complement together, so they're complementary colors on the coloring wheel. If you're not sure what that is, that's another lesson, maybe for another channel, but for right now, talking about color in drawing. But anyway, when mixed together, they tend to make a darker, neutral kind of dark gray, nice dark, like right in through here. And they tend to darken each other, neutral out each other really nicely. Anyway, trying to go fast through here. And just thinking about three-dimensional form. You know, we'll get into the shading techniques and properties of light and value, how they're very different, but they can be thought of in somewhat similar terms. And still pushing along here with more of the main body. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to outline a little bit more in blue, a little bit of black Sharpie, and then as I come through, about running through here, I'm going to transition from the blue tone to the orange tone and go orangey all the way up and through to the back underneath and all the way through to the end. So we have a contrast between the blue creature and the orange creature as well. And so they'll transition right in through where my pencil is in through here. Here's the scale I'm thinking about for the sculpture here. So these might be the size of children. So this is pretty big in my conception. So, and this, again, this started from just a simple exercise in, you know, combining and joining forms together, what I call the great smash up. It's just jamming one form into another, and in some ways kind of with creative energy, but not with necessarily a purpose other than an exercise. And then I took what we've done here, what I'm showing, and started to make a concept out of it. And you can build something from that. So you can see me transition here from blue. See how this, when they mix together, not necessarily in equal parts, but when they start mixing together, they start to make a neutral kind of gray. And so this is kind of neutral, excuse me, neutral land in through here. And right about in through here is when I'll start to go for pure, excuse me, pure orangey, vermilion-y kind of tone. And I can come across really quickly and add some line to this. I don't want it to get too overwhelming with line, outline it too much, but that gives it a kind of graphic, really quick graphic look. And then I come back in certain areas, kind of like painting, and I just put some strokes down with my Sharpie just to give a little direction in through here. Just enough to say that that's turning, or that's a kind of a hard outline, like so, and through there. So when I'm working on a piece kind of outside the peruse of the camera, or for a demonstration, you know, you can, and most artists will get this, you can turn your drawing 360 degrees. So I've got it upside down now. It's just easier to get to and easier to manage and to work with, and I can work my forms very nicely, very quickly, cleanly, as I move through and finish out this concept sketch from our great Smashup lecture here. So, you know, with your drawings, you can work with me, and that's fine, and then you get the hang of it and do your own thing, or just start going to your own thing once you get the hang of it. And, you know, really let your creative energy, your intellect, because creativity is an intellectual exercise of your brain functions, and let yourself really be challenged by space and the dimensionality of forms. And let's see where you can really, you know, push this, you know, through. Keep your pencil sharp. If it starts to get shorter, you know, get a little pencil extender like I've got. And through here, I'm over here sharpening. You know, I can extend the life of that pencil. It's harder to hold too, also when it's shorter. I don't know about you, but that makes it more difficult. So I like to have that pencil extender, and you can draw with the palm method, you can draw with the writing method. All those are valid too, and I use them, you know, quite a bit. So I'm just thinking about the dimensionality of this form as I start to throw a little light and shadow. Kind of I conceive the light coming through on the middle part of it. This underneath might be a little darker, just to distinguish kind of the piping or tubing of my design. And through here, I'm going to be much less detailed back in through here because I'm conceiving it as, you know, further away. So that helps too as well. All right, so I'm almost there. A few more minutes, I think, and get the idea of it with a little bit more of a sort of a finish. You know, if it's a concept sketch, again, you don't have to be super rendered. You know, the difference between a concept drawing or sketch and a piece of illustration is the degree of finish. This is showing an idea. You could give this, I could do multiple views of this drawing or this form and then give it over to an engineer or a 3D designer. We could 3D print it, really make this into something, you know, tangibly three-dimensional, more so than just the drawing. So I might put a little bit of blue to gray that down, make it a little bit darker, kind of like it did over here, right? So we're working upside down. If you're just tuning into this, you're nothing wrong with your camera vision. You'll be able to turn that paper 360. So if I wanted to get at it through here, I don't do this often because if I kept moving the camera angle and shooting, that would just be a nightmare. I never get anything done, but you get the idea. So I could come over here and start working it. And of course, if you're working a lot digitally, you can manipulate your image too, you know, that way as well. So anyway, I'm about finished over into here. I might put some blue underneath here just to give it a nice little effect. It's mostly orange, but a little blue accent in through there to help out a little bit and make it more fully realized and three-dimensional. Okay. All right. So if I came over here, let's turn it right side up now. Make sure I'm in the camera. Yep. There we go. And so lastly, I might show you the scale. Let me pull in just a little bit here, and we'll take a look at, right down into here is kind of the scale I'm thinking at for my drawing. So if I take my Sharpie, and if these are children, maybe a girl here, right, and then a boy, child, tweener maybe, that's the scale I'm thinking at. So maybe they're, oh, I don't know, for their age, maybe about 4 feet. So I'll put a little 4 here with a little ink pen. So these are both 4 feet. So that's a 4 foot scale all over here. They can crawl in and manipulate through it. Hopefully they can have, walking through this soft sculpture, could have a fantastic time of adventure or whatnot, get into mischief and a little bit of fun kind of trouble, and enjoy the experience of a jungle gym or some kind of exercise type thing where they could kind of let loose and let off some energy and whatnot. Okay, so there you go. So that's my interpretation really of this lecture, of these smash-ups, is how to combine forms together to make something tangible. Now I do that in the figure series that I'm working on. If you go into and look at the volumetric figure, you can find everything in the playlists. I've broken it down to several different sections, and I've added one on perspective, by the way, and anatomy, and those will be coming in the future. You'll find that you can, in the volumetric lecture, you can do the same thing with the figures. As a matter of fact, in order to really draw well, you want to be able to conceive of volumes and solids and connect that to the figure and to what you know of anatomy. If you don't know a lot, you can still draw a pretty convincing figure with a good idea of where volumes and solids go in space. So there you go. All right, so I hope you got something out of the Smash-Up lectures, and I hope you have fun with it. If you want to show me your drawings, certainly send them to me. You can find my email in the About section of our the Drawing Database channel, and I think that's it. I'll leave you off. Everybody have a good day, and I'll see you when we see you around the world. Take care. Bye-bye.